Some lives are shaped by opportunity. Others are forged by survival. She was born into warmth, sunlight, laughter, family gatherings that spilled late into the night. A childhood filled with love, humor, and big personalities. From the outside, it looked like a happy beginning. But fate rarely announces its turning point. At just 18 years old, her world collapsed. Her older brother, someone she adored, was murdered in a kidnapping attempt. Gun violence tore through her family without warning, leaving behind grief so heavy it bent time itself. The kind of loss that doesn't fade. It settles in. Suddenly, joy became fragile. Safety felt temporary. She married young, had a child while still a teenager, and just as she tried to steady her footing, that marriage fell apart. She found herself a single mother, responsible for a little boy while still trying to understand who she was herself. Then came another blow. In her 20s, doctors delivered a sentence no one expects to hear so early in life. Cancer. Cervical cancer. Surgery, fear, uncertainty, a forced confrontation with mortality before her life had even barely begun. She survived, but survival came at a cost. Her body was changed, her sense of control shaken, and the road ahead was anything but clear. Grief, divorce, illness. For many, that would have been the end of the story. But this is a twist of fate. Rather than retreat, she made a bold, terrifying choice. She left everything familiar behind, her home, her culture, her support system, and moved to a country where her accent marked her as other, where opportunity came with judgment attached. She worked, modeled, auditioned, smiled through rejection. People laughed at her before they laughed with her. Casting directors told her she was too loud, too foreign, too exaggerated, too much. But too much had always been her strength. She leaned into it, turned what others dismissed into something unforgettable. She refused to erase herself to fit a mold someone else created. Behind the scenes, she fought battles no one could see. Raising her son, navigating health scares, and later surviving another terrifying chapter when a stalker turned her success into danger. She faced legal fights over her own body. She faced public scrutiny over choices that were deeply personal. And still, she stood. Over time, the laughter changed, the room changed, the world changed. What once felt like an obstacle became her signature. Her voice, her accent, her presence became undeniable. Not because she conformed, but because she didn't. Only near the end of her journey does the full picture come into focus. The young woman who survived murder, cancer, heartbreak, and displacement. That single mother who refused to shrink. That immigrant who turned too much into her superpower. Was Sofía Vergara. Her twist of fate wasn't fame. It was resilience. It was choosing joy after grief and standing fully in her own truth, even when the world told her to be smaller. Even when the world told her she couldn't do it, she dug in, worked harder, never gave up. It was the quiet decision, made again and again, not to let tragedy have the final word. So ask yourself, what part of your story are you still letting hold you back? And what might change if you finally let it go? This has been Twist of Fate Radio. I'm Angela Clark. Until next time, remember, sometimes the smallest choices lead to the biggest consequences. Want to explore more stories like this? Visit twistoffateradio.com. There you can read more details about this story and others like it. Plus, you can submit your own Twist of Fate story to be considered for a future episode. You never know what twist of fate is coming next.